Hey, I want to share with you a little bit about a vision of meaning, a vision for your business. A vision of meaning, the way I phrase it, is comprised of three things: higher purpose, core values, and big ambitious goal. Okay, but it's not just the touchy-feely side. It's not just the alignment piece, although alignment kind of underpins some other stuff I'll share with you. But there's a huge financial advantage, okay, and performance advantage to a vision of meaning. I want to read a couple of things to you that from sources, right? Wall Street Journal. Okay, Wall Street Journal, you can look up this article. It's from a couple of years ago, but values-based culture pays off for companies. The title is Values-Based Culture Pays Off for Companies. And what they found is when they were studying innovation, financial performance, levels of engagement, customer satisfaction, 97% of the values-driven, values-based organizations, purpose-driven, purpose-based organizations outperformed their counterparts, 97%, okay? 97% of the companies matched up outperformed their counterparts across 17 countries, right? Across 17 countries. That's important too, because I've heard from people, well, that'll work in America. I don't think it'll work here. 17 different countries, 97%. I mean, there were 3%, chalk it up to luck, whatever. Bad things happen, right? But almost 100% of the companies studied who truly were vision-based, values-driven, purpose-driven, they outperformed their competitors. All right, let me give you another one. So John Cotter and James Heskett at Harvard Business School did a 10-year study, okay, over a decade, and they looked at purposeful, value-driven companies, and they outperformed their counterparts by a factor of 12. Okay, that's not 12%, that's 12x. Okay, they outperform their counterparts in stock price by 12 times. So, Lawrence Fink, he's the CEO and chairman of BlackRock. And if you're not familiar with BlackRock, they're well over 7 at this point. But as of April 2019, they controlled $6.5 trillion in assets. Okay, trillion with a T. Right? 6.5 trillion. It's well over 7 now. It might even be 8. What they do is they invest in other companies. So Lawrence Fink writes an annual letter, writes a letter out to the CEOs of those companies. And he is acknowledging that to prosper over time, this is a quote from his letter, to prosper over time, every company must not only deliver financial performance, but also show how it makes a positive contribution to society. Now, understand Lawrence Fink is worried about younger generations seeing the shareholder profit-driven motive and that being the end-all be-all, and what it's doing to the environment, what it's doing to human rights, what it's doing to offshoring, labor and tax avoidance and all this other stuff. And people are getting kind of fed up with it. He sees the writing on the wall, and he reached out to the CEOs and said, hey, we got to start changing some stuff. If we're going to survive long-term, if capitalism is going to survive long-term, we need to change some things. And see, there's nothing in my mind at odds, or it needs to be at odds, between capitalism, entrepreneurship, and doing good for the world. If you're solving real problems and doing something right, you can do that. We can make decisions that don't harm the environment, don't harm other people, don't disenfranchise folks, don't, all the things that we don't want to do, or at least say we don't want to do. We do that by anchoring ourselves in a vision of meaning. Okay, so let's go into each component. A higher purpose. Your higher purpose is why you started your business in the first place. You saw something out there, the quality, the delivery, something that didn't sit right with you, the way it was run, management, the decisions they were making. Maybe they were polluting the environment and didn't care about that. Or whatever it was, the way they were treating people and patients, the way they were serving customers and providing inferior product. Whatever it might have been to motivate you to go out, that's your higher purpose. Get in touch with that, write it down. And this is an important point. Document it. Okay, write it down and then share it. Share it internally to begin with, but then share it. Share your higher purpose. Share it externally. After you've wordsmithed it internally and people are kind of on board and they understand what it's about, cool. Now share it with everybody. You share it with your strategic partners or potential partners, your client customer base, referral sources, internally with employees. Recruiting and hiring candidates. It's a great place to talk about what really motivates you, what inspires you, why you're doing this. Now, if you've done this recently, if you started your business recently, you're probably down with what my higher purpose is. You're really close to being in touch with it, right? If you've been in business for 15, 20, 25 years or more, you might be mired in the day-to-day, you might have kind of lost touch with that. It's super important that you think back to when you began. What got you motivated? Why do you really exist? Really ask that question. If you're stuck, ask yourself that, why 5 more times. Whatever the answer to that is, why. You'll get down to what really is the root of it, and that will help you out, okay? Number 2, core values. Core values are 4 to 6 word phrases. They can be a little bit shorter or longer, but they're phrases that describe behaviors, okay? Core values are how you're going to behave along the way. This is your right and wrong. It's your line in the sand. We're not going to cross this. And those values, together with that purpose, can really guide your decisions and make sure that you're sticking to them, adhering to them, and you're not making compromises that will do things that are against your values. Okay, be candid, be open, be honest. They're yours. They need to be unique to you. Don't go swipe them. I talked to somebody who wasn't a client, and he shared his values with me and stolen one from one of my clinics. He stole one from the All Blacks, stole one from another company I knew of, and I went and looked up the other couple because I'm like, what is this? Don't co-opt other people's because they sound cool. If they sound cool, that's great. Use it as inspiration, but make them your own. Word it the way you would word it. Describe it the way you would describe it. And then we're going to get to how else you're going to use these, but that's going to be part and parcel, foundational to your decision-making process, okay? Higher purpose, core values so far. Last one is your big ambitious goal. Some people refer to it as BHAG, that Jim Collins, Jerry Porras came up with and built to last. BHAG's cool. They tend to describe it on a much longer timeline. I like it to be closer to the 5-8 year time frame. So we're going to lay out a goal that's a little bit more tangible, not quite so far off in the future, because ultimately, I don't know about you, but in 25 years, I don't even know what technology is going to look like. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know a lot of the stuff. 5-10 years, 5-8 years, I kind of know that time window. I know how old my kids are going to be. I know that the dog isn't going to run as fast as she does today. I know, I know roughly where we're going to be, where I'm going to be, if things go the way we hope and plan for, right? But that starts to become a little bit more tangible. Okay, my 5-year goal, my 8-year goal, that timeline for me is still, it's kind of sort of over the horizon. It's long enough that I don't have to know how to get there yet. I can have a stretch goal. I'm not talking about 20-year, year-over-year, 20% year-over-year growth or something like that. It's not a linear, we're just going to progress and move forward. No, it's a reach goal. It's something out there beyond, over the horizon, that maybe you don't know how to do yet. But give yourself 5 to 8 years, you have the time to figure that out, right? You can learn more stuff. You can engage with a coach. You can read a book. You can do a program. You can do all those things that can help you build up that business muscle so that you can figure out how to get to the next stage. And for that, you need a planning process. And that's not the topic of this video. That's another thing. But think about those 3 things, okay? We'll go back. Big ambitious goal, core values, higher purpose. Those 3 things together, when you share them back with your team and work with them around that and reinforce the positive behaviors, positively reinforce the behaviors that you see that are good, you will get more alignment and more synergy within your company, okay? One note about the core values. You already have them, right? You're not going to invent them. They are there. You already have expectations for how you expect yourself to behave, how you expect others to behave in your company. They have expectations for each other. Those are the manifestation of the values. So you could explore that, discover that, figure out what those are, write them down, codify that. When you start telling other people, candidates, potential partners, referral sources, others, that resonates with the right people. Okay. And the cool thing about that is when you're attracting more of the right people to work on your team who share your values, share your vision, want to go where you want to go, agree with your purpose, are inspired by that, when you share that with referral sources, when you share that with strategic partners, when you share that with candidates, customers, clients, particularly the candidates, you will get more people working on the team, more people joining you, more people buying from you, more people coming to you, more people supporting you that are aligned with what you're all about. And when that happens, we talked about financial performance. Let's talk about just the peace of mind and reduction in stress that goes into that for you when you're running your business. Okay, so think about those 3 items. Think about your vision and meaning and how that works. If you need help with it, reach out. hit me up at sturdycoaching.com. That's what I do. That's actually Pillar 2 in the 12 Pillars program, but that's stuff that we can work on independent or together. Thanks, and hope this was helpful.